So you want to retire early. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this video. I hate when all of the retire early videos start with a 15-minute explanation about what the FIRE movement is and all the different types of FIRE. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you what you came for. Today I'm going to give you the steps of what I think are the fastest, easiest way to retire early. And I'm not going to talk about, I'm going to do a lot of things different. I'm not going to talk about the 4% rule. I'm not going to talk about the 30 times your income rule. I'm not going to talk about any of the stupid formulas and stuff that people get too caught up on. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just give you a roadmap of the steps that you need to take if you want to retire early. So let's get into it right now.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay, if you are just starting out, then you got to start out on step one. I'll put time breaks into the video, so if you're already past step one, you can skip ahead. But step one is to get all of your debts paid off. You can't start investing and start buying real estate and start putting money in the stock market and all these other things until you get your debt paid off. So step one, get all your debt paid off. Step two, get an emergency fund. This might sound counterintuitive because everybody wants to retire as fast as possible and get to the finish line, but we got a couple things we need to do during the race here so we can get to the finish line. So number two is to get an emergency fund started. Trust me, I went broke trying to play this game the first time around, and the main reason that I went broke was because I didn't have an emergency fund. I was just putting all my money into real estate and I didn't have any money to get me through the rainy days that were gonna come, which came in 2008 when the market crashed and I went broke and I lost everything. If I would have had an emergency fund and I could have sustained those mortgages for 6 or 12 months, I probably could have weathered that storm and kept all of my assets and not had the bank repossess and foreclose and take everything and give me a crappy credit score and make me start over from zero and have to do this all over again. So take it from somebody who's already made it $1 million, lost it, and then had to start over. Step two, get an emergency fund saved up to get you through any rainy day situation. Step three, see, I told you I'm gonna go fast here for you guys. Step three is to buy a house and house hack it. I think probably the best way to do this is to buy a duplex, live in one side, rent the other side out. You've gotta live somewhere, and for 99% of people, the biggest expense they have is their housing expense. So if you can get somebody else to pay your housing expense, you're gonna be leaps and bounds ahead in this game. So get a duplex, rent out one side. If you can't afford a duplex, buy a single family, rent some rooms out. Depending on where you are in the stage in your 20s, maybe you can have roommates. If you're in your 30s or your 40s, you're probably past that stage where you wanna get roommates. So buy a duplex, rent out one half, let them pay half or 3/4 of your mortgage. Step four is to rinse and repeat step three. Just do exactly what you did in step three. Buy another duplex or triplex or fourplex or single family or whatever, and do it again. Move into that one and then keep that first duplex you bought. So you've got those two units probably making more, hopefully making more than their mortgage. So that house is paying for itself, plus paying part of your mortgage on your new one. Plus you got the other half paying it. So you're either probably, at this point, your housing expense should be zero, or maybe you're even making a little bit more than your housing expense so that you can cover your food cost, or some of you're starting to work towards that financial independence number where all of your expenses are covered. And if you're able to do this 2 or 3 times, once you have 2 or 3 or 4 properties, you're definitely going to hit that financial independence number. I hit it with, I think, 4 properties. I had all of my living expenses covered, not just my mortgages, my food, my gas, my transportation, my insurance. All of my expenses were covered. So when you get to this point of financial independence, this is where you can get to 100% savings rate. You know, people in the FIRE movement say like save 50 or 60 or 70% of your income and put it into index funds. Well, if you follow this plan in 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe you're going to already have reached financial independence. You're going to have 100% savings rate, and maybe even more if you've got 100% of your expenses covered, plus a little more income coming in from these real estate. You can really start to now put some really serious money away into investments. Okay, step 5, at this point, maybe you have 3 or 4 or 5 different mortgages. So you need to increase that original emergency fund. Maybe before you only needed 3 months, maybe you needed $10,000 in your emergency fund to get you through 3 months. Well, now if you've got a couple mortgages, you need to increase that emergency fund so that you've got 6 to 12 months of all your expenses covered. Imagine everybody moved out of all your properties, calculate how much your mortgages and your living expenses are, and save up 6 to 12 months of that for your emergency fund, because that truly is what's going to save your ass if something horrible happens and everybody does move out, or nobody pays rent, or there's a worldwide pandemic, or who knows what could happen. But get that emergency fund boosted up, and then that will save you from having to start over the way that I did. Okay, step 6. Now see, this is where a lot of people hit financial independence and they think, woohoo, I'm fired, I'm going to retire early and lay on the beach. Don't do that. You want to ensure success and you want to have a good retirement. So don't just, most people's problem is with the FIRE movement is they try to get out too fast. It's not about seeing how fast you can get out. It's about getting out and being retired or having your time to yourself, but also having a good lifestyle. So don't just get out where you still have to eat ramen noodles and you can't ever do anything fun. So step 6, this is where you've got 100% savings rate. Maybe you're making money off the rental properties. This is where you start putting money into the market, into ETFs, into index funds, wherever you want to stick the money into the market. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm giving you guys just a general roadmap here, but too many people invest all of your money into ETFs and live on the 4% rule, or invest all of your money into real estate and live off the income. And I think if you can have a balance of those two things, I think the fastest way to get to financial independence is through the real estate side. Once you get there, if you keep your job and you keep working, you can take the extra money, stick all of it into the markets, and then you can live off of the real estate income and then let this thing over here grow. So maybe you don't need to put $2 million in there, but maybe if you put 3 or 4 or 500,000 in there and then let that grow without touching it, and you're living off of this money, it's a guarantee for success.
99% guarantee. Nothing is a 100% guarantee in this world. And legal disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor.
The key with putting the money into the market, it's not to beat the market. It's not to try to outsmart the S&P 500 and get 32% returns. It's to be in the market. You've got to just be in the market and let the market do its thing. See, you've already basically fired. You're working to just ensure success and have a better retirement so you can travel the world or buy the boat or play golf every day or whatever it is you want to do. And this is going to ensure that success by staying in a little bit longer. I think you should get out as fast as you can. Not as fast. I think you should get out as soon as it's feasible. I don't want anybody to work any extra amount of time, but just be sure you put in enough time to ensure your success, and that, when you're 60 years old, you might want to have nicer things than when you're 25 or 30 years old. So don't think I live on $40,000 in my 20s. I can do that in my 60s, because trust me, you don't want to. I'm 48 years old and I don't want to live on the same amount of money I had in my 20s. So just stay in the game a little bit longer, build that up, pad that. You're already going to be so far ahead of everybody else in the game. You're going to still see everybody trying to get rich on crypto and trying to get rich over here. And you're just building up the safety net at this point. So don't try to beat the market. Don't buy risky investments. Slow and steady wins the race. You'll notice that I didn't talk about exactly how much income you need, or exactly how many rental properties you need, or exactly how much you need to put into the market, because I don't know how much is enough for you. I don't know how much you need to live on. I don't know where you live, how many houses, how much you can make off each house. But if you want to try to figure out how much you do need in retirement, go watch this video over here. I put together a video that it's a little bit different than everybody else's. Also, it doesn't talk about the 4% rule or the 30 times your annual income rule. This will help you calculate what you want your lifestyle to look like, and then you can see how much you need in retirement. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and go watch this video.